somewhere along the lines, less attire is connected to strength. I don't know where that has came from. I mentioned to you, I think that as a man, as a young man at one point in time, I probably doused a lot of fire on that flame to have that belief.
We gotta keep it live. Push everything you heard to the back and side. Turn your speakers up if you feel the vibe. We speaking out the box. Welcome to the tribe, and nothing is off limits cause the people need it. We gotta keep it. Come on, vibe with it.
We back in there.
We back.
Back like we left.
Brother Matt, you brought up something right before we went to that track about knowing the history of your spouse or your mate or whatever that is. Go deeper into that.
So, when I met my wife, my wife's from Detroit. I'm from Champaign, so completely two different backgrounds.
True.
Completely two different life experiences. Probably most likely two different class experiences, and so just two different lifestyle experiences growing up. But when we met each other, there were a lot of things that I didn't know.
Right.
Long into the marriage, that I had to work into getting the understanding of, that came from just who she is, how she was wired, based off of her culture.
Right. Like where she came from.
Right, where she came from. And there would be conflict within that because I didn't know how to adjust, how to teach.
Right.
And not teach where I gotta, where she's a student in the marriage, but as far as me just being the leader, like I mentioned in the beginning, showing having that foundation, me getting as a teacher, showing and teaching and keeping my tone and all
you
those
demonstrating,
things balanced.
demonstrating.
There would be frustration behind it. And so when there's frustration, because where she's from and where I'm from, we ain't
it don't
going.
mean the same thing.
Like, the minute it happens, she's not going. And so from there, it would, rather than there being communication and agreement developing, there would be frustration in there. And then you just patch it over and keep going. Pray about it. God will work it through. But there's still no agreement, And so that's why I asked you the question, or whoever in the beginning, when you said when we said agreement, there has to always be agreement.
Yeah.
It's always, you can't just agree to disagree.
Right.
You can't. You have to negotiate. You have to sit at the table. You have to come up with something where you walk away and agree. And I think for me, I struggle with that history part and knowing that, because I didn't dive into that to that aspect.
That's real.
We had to come to a space, me and my wife had to come to a space that we was in agreement that it's things that happened to us before we got married. And those things also affect us right now.
Yep.
And they could, some of those stuff is good, some of the stuff is less than favorable. But we still, her and I had to at least be in the same realm of mental space that was like, these things happened before we got married, but now they're affecting us now that we are. Just that one mental place to be in right there that says, oh yeah, there are things in the past that are affecting us right now. Then now we can go and pray about whatever that is together. It ain't just me praying for her because she tripping, she praying for me because I'm tripping. And then
the woman that thou gavest to me.
Or the man that's sitting up on the corner of his rooftop to avoid, the quarrelsome wife, that is in the Bible though.
It is in the Bible.
But I'm not trying to do that. I'm not going on the roof. That's why I bought the house, so I could live inside the house. So we had to be in at least in agreement that it's stuff in our history, there's stuff in our past that did happen, and if we don't deal with it, it's gonna mess up what we got right now. And that was another thing, like what I was saying earlier. We've seen so many marriages fail, and we're like, that's another thing that we are in agreement on, that we not gonna fail. We not going. However we got to do it, whatever got to take place, that's what we gonna do, because we know it ain't going like that.
I realized I had PTSD in marriage from past relationships.
Yeah.
And
That's real, bro.
And she was getting that heat.
Yeah.
So I would respond. There was one time when we first got married, we had disagreement. I don't know why I did this. I don't do it anymore, but I don't know why I would do this. But I went and put a hoodie on my head. Put the hoodie over my head. And that's what I would do just to ignore you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know why, like a seventh grader or something. You know? But I remember I had it on one day, and she asked, "Why you got the hoodie on your head?" And it was like a flashback of every single individual that I was with, that I would do that to because I was irritated.
That would let them know. Yeah.
And I would get in my feelings, and that was my way of avoiding you, walking around you, letting you know that I'm in my own zone or whatever. And there was PTSD from past that.
Hey. Yeah. Well, I mean, I wish my stuff was a little bit more what do you call it? Simple. But
it is. Ain't it?
Nah, ain't it? So like when we started, let's call it the courtship, when we started the courting, everything was great, you know. When we got married, we felt that we knew one another well enough so that we had an understanding.
Right.
However, there were some times wherein I did things that were wrong and she did things that were wrong that helped us develop more of what we thought we knew.
Right.
There was a time where I was in Chicago, because I was still going back and forth from Chicago. I was doing music, doing different things, and I was out so late that I did not come home. So I came home in the morning, but I didn't sleep there.
Yeah.
So she was, this was the first time I saw the what do you call it? The murderous intent in my wife. Yeah. She got up in my face like, "Bring your home," and I was like, "Okay, all right,
we can't. Okay.
I see. We hit a nerve. We're not gonna do that. That's not what we gonna do."
Yeah.
But then.
So I want how easy. I'm sure she was very convincing in the moment, but there still had to be like a time where you was like, "Nah, I can't be on that."
That was that time.
Like, was that instant, or was it like you thought about what she said and how she reacted, and then that was like, all right, nah, or was it just right away like, nah, I can't?
It was like this situation right here. I'm never gonna do that because
You ain't call?
Huh?
You didn't call?
Yeah, I called.
Oh.
I called.
What you mean you ain't
but
there?
She went to
but
sleep.
You weren't there.
Right.
Yeah.
She went to sleep.
Yeah.
And though when she woke up in the middle of the night,
and
you should just kept calling.
No. So
that would work.
That didn't happen.
I'll try.
Old me was like, nah.
I called. We good.
Right. So what happened was it was instant for me because I went through the situations that I had been in that, like, if a woman come at me with murderous intent, it's only gonna go one way. That's just it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't want it to go that way. Yeah. I don't care what you think he's gonna do. I'll walk away with a limp, but I'm walking away. You understand what I'm saying? And the police will be there. So we don't want that to ever be the situation. And then when she said it, God just did this whole little, it was like of all the things, like, you said you need this. It's right here. You don't want
there
it.
You go.
Yeah.
You want to play. And not saying that I was out there, but if you leave it up to the imagination, I was. Yeah. And that wasn't the case. So I learned, like, in that moment. So even if I was stuck in Chicago, I'm on the phone with her the whole time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm literally on the phone. Hey, I'm doing this right now. Hey, say hi to this person. Say hi to this person, because I don't want to see you like that.
Yep.
So
I like that. I like that. Right
that's
there.
Big, because
that last
and I believe that's one of the things, or the people who say marriage is a waste of time, they're not willing to do stuff like that.
They not.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's a waste
You
of time.
too much in my business.
Right, because if you place value on your relationship, it ain't gonna be nothing off the table for you to make sure it's good.
If you place value on that person.
For real.
Yeah.
For real.
Like, because most people, they'll value the institution of marriage before they value who they're actually married to. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, I'm married, I'm gonna make this thing work. But then I'm looking at the person I'm married to, like, she don't deserve. Because remember, I told you the person before me made it real easy for me to win. So now, if I even show glimpses of that guy, I'm undoing everything I did. So I'm like, hey, no, you know what? You know what? She might be light skinned. She might have freckles. However, she does not deserve this kind of treatment. You know what I'm saying? And so I value not only what we were building together, but what she represented by herself. You know what I'm saying? Because by herself, like, she got grown women looking up to her. Like, by herself. You know what I'm saying? So only a fool would acknowledge that there is no God. Hey, God did that, bro. So I'm gonna stand right there in it. You know what I'm saying? So hey.
And that, I must go ahead and lean to say, men that have something miss that. You know what I'm saying? Because if I got it and she with me, then I'm the prize. You know what I'm saying? Her having me is the prize. So I ain't gotta tell you where I'm at because you got me. Having me is the prize. So you don't need to know where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? If I got such and such, you laying in the bed that I bought, in the house,
with the paint on the walls that I put up.
Yeah, I ain't got to tell you, but whole time it's like, hey, bro, it's an accountability.
It is.
That when God places something of value in your hands, like, you responsible for that,
bro.
Like, you responsible for her. You responsible for that whole thing. So
how much time we got?
If it crumbles, well, we got like 30, 40 minutes left.
Cause I got something.
If it crumbles,
you just brought up something.
That's on you, and that's my issue with Darius. Is that he got this thing in his hand, and I don't know if he understands
what he got.
the gravity of what he got. You know
that's
what I'm
saying? Because he got the goods before he got the goods.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? That's what I was saying before. Like, once you let the genie out the bottle,
she out.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't even get come on now. Like, you didn't go through the proper. Listen, bro, I don't want to go there, but we might as well go there. Bro, don't you realize that we always go to Genesis? Genesis is a great place to go. It's rich.
I think we live there.
Yeah, Genesis is rich. Don't you realize that Eve's responsibility was just as great as Adam's?
Of course.
And the gifting in her was just as strong as Adam's. So the ability that he had to name things, she had to name things. You understand what I'm saying? And the understanding that comes with when God gives. Like, rather than, like, my wife always says, I'm the fox for the hunt. And I'd be like, what you mean you the fox for the hunt? I'm a catch too. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, don't play me down. But when I think about it, it's true. You know what I'm saying? And when you go back to when they used to do those like fox hunts and everything like that, the hunter and the dog combination that would basically catch the fox gets rewarded. They get heralded. They get lauded. Why? Because they were the ones who actually caught the fox. So if I'm the one that catches the fox, my reward is in catching the fox. Not the fact that, I got to get the fox put up on the mantle. No, I caught the fox. It was so many other people trying to catch the fox. And once I realized now that my fox is no longer just the fox, but my fox is the person that's designed to help me carry out what I'm supposed to carry out. Now there's a different understanding. He had it booty cheeked up. And he could have. He could have put in.
Where the disclaimer at?
Bro, he could have put the views and opinions. He could have done it the right way, bro.
Right.
But so many of us go back to this. We go to what our flesh wants. Mm-hmm. Making the flesh happy never does anything right. Ever, bro. Mm-hmm. And it sucks because your flesh kind of lets you know when things feel good. So you think that that's the barometer. That's the needle that points the way. And it's like, first seek ye in all thy ways. Then your flesh, you got to train your flesh. I'm not going to train my wife. I'm going to train my flesh.
But I think that falls in.
Come on,
I'm gonna dump it back on us.
Yeah, put it back on there
because we wear hats, even though we're out the box.
Well, I'm not wearing a hat right now.
We still wear a hat that we teach,
right?
And somewhere along the line, what you just taught is not being taught. Not saying you're not doing it.
That's true.
Not saying you're not doing it. Not saying you're not doing it. But what's
that teaching for our homes, you saying?
I'm saying for those that identify as children of the Most High.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
Understanding there's balance. Because that's the first thing that we got to get, because a lot of the comments that I'm seeing on the internet deal with, and we talked about this, her strength being connected to her sexiness. Right. And what she wears and her body showing. And so I'm just confused, I guess. I'm gonna dive there.
I get it. Face. She wasn't sexy on Aquila and the Bee, and she ain't did nothing big since Aquila and the Bee.
Right, but I don't even think it's just her. I think somewhere along the lines, less attire has been connected to strength.
And that's not.
And I don't know where that has came from. I mentioned to you, I think that as a young man at one point in time, I probably doused a lot of fire on that flame to have that belief. If that is where that comes from. But what is not what I'm seeing is, rather than, he does got a point to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He does.
Right, to the
he got about 35, 45%, you know. I mean, but maybe even less, I don't know. But where did this connection come from, where it, rather than saying,
I got you.
I'll put my foot in my mouth.
I got you.
Because I already had this conversation with the wife. And
I know what you're saying.
So I read a part of, I believe it was the piece that Essence or their Essence did a piece, whether it was on Twitter or something like that. But the stance that Essence took, which is a magazine geared for Black females, the stance they took was that his entire positioning was toxic masculinity. You know what I'm saying? Like, how dare he pour his toxic self on her and all these things like that. But there's at no point that anything she did may have had some toxicity to it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, was no leaning toward, like, and me and Matt brought this up earlier, is there any modesty? Like, what is modesty? You know what I'm saying? Can you be strong and modest at the same time? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the acceptance of one's body, the like affirmation of a person. You know, everybody writing stuff on the mirror. Everybody is affirming. It's turned into an affirming society is really what's happening. Yeah. That's cool. That's good. But the affirmations cannot supersede the word of God. You know, when that happens, now there's no balance. So the husband, the man, should be able to have some say so. Also, the woman should be able to express herself.
Right.
But we still got to bring all that back into line with what God has already said. And I don't see the perspective
from either one.
From either.
If you look at, let's do it this way. If you look at animals, animals, you never see a lioness scraping off her fur to show power. The lioness is who she is, and she does what she does. She knows that her and the pride do all of the hunting, and the male lion comes in and does the final kill. So she knows what she is. She knows what her power. Right. For us to say that our power comes from being less clothed is it's a fallacy. Right. Just like a lot of the things that we do now, because like, let's just be honest, right? In the African American culture, we take things that hurt and flip them on its head to say now we're empowered with it, like the N-word. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That does not take away from the fact that the N-word is actually negative.
It still is.
It still is.
That's just what it is.
Just because I use it more frequently and I let it fly around does not mean that it's not hurtful. My kids even like, Dad, like, hey. Hey,
you be saying that?
Hey,
we ain't gonna do that. Hey,
we got a segue to the cussing.
We do. Yeah, keep coming with that right there.
So the use of it and saying I'm going to use it as a power symbol does not take away from the negativity of it.
Right.
For African American women, if they knew their history, and I'm not saying that they don't, but if they went back on their history and looked at, I just had to make sure I had her name correct, Sarah Bartman. Sarah Bartman was the African American, well, she was African. She was an African woman that was utilized in exhibition shows because of her body composition. And she was paraded around practically naked all day long, every day, because of her body. Even Caucasian women had issue with the objectification of women in paintings and photographs. How is it that now you want to be naked to be more powerful? Just because you want to make it commonplace does not take away from the negativity of it.
There you go.
Just like with saying cuss words. People say cuss words show greater use of intellect because you have a way to express your emotion. If I tell you I don't like you, I just told you I don't like you. If I have to say I don't effing like you, it doesn't change the degree of me not I don't like you. I just told you. Well, what do you mean? I don't like you.
Hey, we gonna come right back to that.
We gotta come back to that.
Yeah, we gotta come back to that. We got something for that. We do.